Hey guys, it's Bonnie. Today I am here to do a book review and discussion for In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken, which is the third and final book in the Darkest Minds trilogy. And I have my black hoodie on, because black is the color, am I right, ladies? So if you are unaware, The Darkest Minds is kind of a dystopian, apocalyptic book where kids of this certain generation are dying at around the age of 10, or their brains are genetically altered, mutated, to give them some kind of special mind power. And the book follows our main character, Ruby, who has one of these powers, and she is in these camps, which the government set up, that are supposed to be rehabilitation camps, but are really just like, you know, concentration camps. Yeah. So if you have not read The Darkest Minds or its sequel, Neverfade, you should probably leave now, because I'm reviewing, obviously, the third and final book, which you don't want to get spoiled on, and there'll be spoilers. So yeah, leave now. Okay. So, In the Afterlight. Ugh, first of all, look how beautiful this book is, like, so freaking beautiful. That shine though, that shine. I really loved this conclusion, which is rare for me in a trilogy, especially a dystopian sort of trilogy. Normally the third book is just normally really disappointing for me. Allegiant, Mockingjay, even though Hunger Games is my favorites ever, but this conclusion was perfect. Like, I can't say anything that's wrong with it, because I don't think there's a few things that I want to talk about, but I'll save it for the discussion because spoilers. But basically, it wrapped it up so nice. It answered nearly all of my questions, and I loved it. I loved it. It was a bit different from the other two books in the series because the topics are kind of heavier. There isn't much lightheartedness or, you know, happy times in this one as it is in the others. There's some, but not a lot. And yeah, and it's a heavy book too, because it's like 500 something pages. But I still really, really loved it. I thought it was all very appropriate. Everything that happened was just great. It was great. I don't really have much to say, but it was great. It was frustrating too at times, because characters in this book have been very frustrating throughout this book. Like, you'll see when you read it, but hashtag communication, people. Communication is the key. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I think that's all I can really say without spoiling it for you, because like I don't want to accidentally spoil something either. Like, nope. So I'm gonna cut off here for my review. I'm just, like I said, I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. Freaking great. So if you have not read the book, you need to leave, because if you don't, you're gonna get hella spoiled. So first of all, there's one thing we need to just talk about. I mean, look at this. Like, are you kidding? I know this isn't really a spoiler, and I think this was released too, but I kind of forgot that it would be here. And I just feel like we should all experience for the first time on our own, and it's just so beautiful. Am I right? I mean, I guess if you read it on a Kindle, you didn't experience it, but I can't help you then. Sorry. So this book, I loved it so freaking much, you guys. Like, it was such a good conclusion. I have notes. I actually took notes on my phone, and then I realized that was dumb because I'm filming this video on my phone, so obviously I can't look at them. So I had to take pictures of my notes with my iPod. Hashtag first world problems. So the first thing I want to talk about has to do with one of those heavy topics that have been throughout this book, and that is Jude. The death of Jude, and the kind of like almost post-traumatic stress that Ruby is going through, not only just about Jude, but also just about that time in the tunnels. Yeah, it's really nice. I loved Jude so much, and I was really upset of his death, so I'm really glad that it was talked about quite a bit in the book, not only in Ruby's head, but there's that scene between Vita and Ruby that is just beautiful. Sit there, and they talk about Jude, and they get emotional with each other, and it's just so nice. So nice. Moving on to our other little yellow. Zoo is returning in this book, or has returned in this book, and not dead, so that's great. I figured Zoo would come back at some point, and I was really happy she did, and it was alive and well. And then she talked when she was doing that interview, which I think we all figured that she would talk as well, and I thought the interview was a really nice way to do that. I started speaking, I was just like, yes! Like, yelling to myself as I was reading, as I often do. And then Vita was like, yes! And I was just like, yes! It was just a bunch of yes, because I love that freaking friendship between Vita and Zoo. It is so adorable, because at first she kind of resents her because of the whole Jude thing. But then she gets over it, they talk it out, and it's better, and it's great, and I loved it. They were dyeing their hair together, that was just great, great. Then we have the two sort of dynamic relationships in this book. And by relationships, I don't just mean romantic, I mean friends too. We have Liam and Ruby, who are frustrating as hell. Oh my god. Oh my god. Obviously they were still having their problems in their relationship after Never Fade, you know, it kind of continued into that. But instead of getting better, it got worse. Like, it was a good for kinda good in the beginning, you know, they're still like making out every now and then, which is great. But god, they were so, like, they basically had two moods throughout this book, which was making out or being angry at each other. Just speak to each other, just, you say your problems and you say your problems, talk it out, stop ignoring each other. Ooh, god, that scene, that fight scene broke my heart when they're on the stairwell and Ruby's like, don't wait for me or something, and he's like, I won't, and I'm just like, stop it. Tell him you read his stupid note. Tell him that you're upset. You tell her that you're upset and why you wrote it, and just talk to each other. Because that's how they end up figuring out their problems. They finally sit down and are like... And then there was Ruby and Cole. They had a lot of togetherness in this book. They were always together, and I really loved Cole, so I didn't mind that. But it was so frustrating because once again the Liam drama would be dragged into this. It was kind of like Liam and Cole are like meh. So then when Ruby starts hanging out with Cole, it's like meh. It's like, well, we need to use guns to go do the thing. Well, we need to be peaceful and use the media. No guns, no the media, no guns. And it's just like, bring them together. Bring them together. Was that? I'm sorry, that was really weird. I'm sorry. That's how I felt through this whole book. I'm just like, because I could see both sides. I could see Liam's like, we should put this out, let the parents know what's going on. And then I could also see the, hey, we need to go in there with guns a-blazing kind of side, because you needed both for it to work. And when you finally put two and two together, it worked. Oh my god, it was frustrating, as you can tell. But other than that, I really liked all the characters as usual. Cole's death was sad. I just had a feeling going in that either Liam or Cole would die. With this whole sort of angry relationship between the two of them, I just knew that one of them would die. It was sad. I didn't want either of them to die, but I don't want to say I'm glad it was Cole instead of Liam, but I mean, just think how Ruby would have been without Liam. Like, I'm not saying that she wouldn't be strong or independent, because she's that kind of kick-ass character. She doesn't need Liam, but they just... they're so nice together, and they had that moment, you know, they had their sexy time. They finally got it on. Which kind of scared me, because remember, okay, I can't say that, it's a spoiler for a different book, but if you had that first thought of another two and it didn't end well, yeah. It was really funny that they were having, during one of their good moments, when he was like struggling to tell her that, hey, I got condoms just in case, like, so funny. And their little kissing scene in the pantry, that was nice. That was really nice. I enjoyed the happy Liam and Ruby moment. Then we have our other couple, Vita and Chubbs, which, hell yeah, am I right? Yeah, I love when characters hate each other and then they end up together, and this was the classic case of that. And I'm so happy it happened because, Vita and Chubbs, that's all. That's all, I've said enough. Next, we need to talk about Clancy. Fucking Clancy, man. Ugh, I hate him so much. Like, I know some people are like, well, you have to look at this side of it about him. And like, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, I just hate Clancy so much. Why did we not get rid of him in the first place? We could have solved all the problems. All the problems. And like, ugh. And I actually started to believe that he was gonna do good for once, that he was finally gonna turn over, and then at the end, I felt like we were all Nico when Nico's yelling at him. Like, and did anyone else think of the scene, like the America's Next Top Model scene where she's like, how dare you, we were all rooting for you, we were all rooting for you. I feel that's how we all, because Clancy, we were all rooting for you. And then you had to mess it up. Again, always. And then he still gets a happy ending because Ruby decided to clear his memories. Ruby, you're too good sometimes. Just let him suffer. He deserves it. But what you gonna do? I guess. But Clancy. Again, Clancy. I hate him so much. I don't even know if it's hate. It's just so annoyance and disappointment. I am disappointed in you, Clancy Gray. I'm disappointed in you forever and always. What was that? Now I just want to talk about the last kind of bits of the book, how Alexandra wrapped it up. I thought that was really freaking fantastic. How we ended up in Thurmond once again because of freaking Clancy. Because it's kind of like it came full circle. You know, we started out in Thurmond with Ruby and we're ending in Thurmond with Ruby. And that Ruby was so good in that ending scene where she's like, no, I have to walk out. And then she's like, it rained the day I came into Thurmond. It's raining the day I went out. I was just like, yes, you did it. You freaking did it. God, I love you so much, Ruby Dally. I love her so much. And I just wanted to hug her because she did it. She brought down that freaking camp. She let her friends escape and she walked out of there on her own. And it was beautiful. Beautiful. And with Sam, and like she brought Sam's memories back, which leads me to my one question at the end. We didn't really see Sam in the end. Like, are they gonna be friends again? Or is it just like, that's like my only question. But I feel like I haven't read the novellas yet, and I know there might be another novella, so maybe there'll be answers in that. I don't know. I don't know why I haven't read the novellas yet. I don't have a Kindle or a pad at all, or what is it called? Tablet. So that's probably why, but yeah. And then speaking of memories, her parents. Ruby's parents are alive. She gives them their memories back. She sees her grandma too in that hospital, and it's just so beautiful. It was so beautiful, that moment between them all, and I was so happy. I cried. This is the first book. I cried at the end of every single book in The Darkest Minds. But this is the first book that I cried because I was happy. And for that, I just have to thank you, Alexandra Bracken, for giving us this series, these characters, and this fantastic ending that they deserved. I am so excited that they will hopefully be a movie, and hopefully it's successful, because I want more of this series. I'm going to miss it so freaking much, because it's just one of my favorite series, and Ruby Dally is one of my favorite characters. Liam, I love all the characters in this series. It's one of my all-time favorites. 5 out of 5 stars to all the books, including this one. I guess that's really all I have to say. The ending was just beautiful when they're driving together again one last time. The whole gang back together. Liam, Ruby, Chubbs, Vita, Zoo. The world is getting better. It's all fixed and it made sense and it was just perfect. I loved this book so much. Yeah, and yeah. Thank you, Alexandra Bracken, so much for this series. So much. Okay, this video is nearly 20 minutes long, so yikes, editing, man. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked this book and this series. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Discuss with me, because there's so much things to discuss. There's probably things I left out too, but it's just so much to say. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.